I'm super excited about this video series. We're going to be integrating Festo Didactics MecLab trainers with our PLC trainer. I ran into these at our local high school a few years ago, and immediately I kind of started rolling this series through my head. So I reached out to Festo Didactic and pitched the idea to them, and they loved it. My initial thought was we were just going to do a programming series, and for the most part, that is what we're doing on these. But I really want to highlight the content that comes with these MecLab trainers. I review a lot of training material, and what really stands out to me about these is one, they do educate you on the parts of it and how they work together. But there's a lot of putting a problem in front of you and then you having to think through the solution. And that's something that I really think makes an outstanding trainer is helping you learn to think through problems. Additionally, a lot of times you don't have the hardware such as our PLC trainer. So they come with these easy minis that plug in and have a USB port here, and you can simulate your system with your laptop. So you can learn a ton with these. So check out Festo Didactic. I'll have a link down in the description to help you out. Let's talk about the game plan of how we're going to go through these because they do have great lessons. And I want to focus on this as when you're presented with a mechanical part that you must add a control panel to, what are the steps we have to think through? What do we have to do to figure out what sensors we need or how to wire them? And I'm going to start with this conveyor trainer right here. And this conveyor trainer, I don't want to call it basic because you can do a whole lot with it, but I think it is a great start for how do we take our mechanical part and wire it to our panel. So we are going to have to figure out how to wire inputs, how to wire outputs, what is syncing, what is sourcing, what is PNP, what is NPN. And okay, we're going to detect a part here and it's going to roll down. And then we have another sensor right here. And yes, you are going to have to figure out what's the difference between the two sensors. But if we have this part, it needs to go down here. This needs to come down and drop it down into our chute. And if we have this part here, it needs to go on this way and proceed to the next station. So my goal with this one is to really teach us about wiring, setting up our first PLC program, and getting that basic first steps going. Next, my plan is to work with this stacker right here. So you have a magazine that stores your lids. We'll drop that down in there. And the first step will be to insert a container onto our station. Then this cylinder needs to extend and set that on top of there. Then we're going to need to retract back, which loads up the next part. And then this needs to press down to secure our lid. We're going to start learning about sequencing. And I really want to do this one kind of the way that I see you do it when you're starting out. We did learn enough about PLC programming there to get started through some things. And then we start taking those few moves we know and start trying to add it to this. And when it doesn't work, we add a little more. And then when it doesn't work, we're going to add a little more. And eventually we get it kind of working. And I think we will go through that. And then we're going to talk about different ways that you do see sequencing out in the field. And we'll go through those. And then we're going to back up and we're going to try to do this a little differently. We're going to come up with a game plan this time and we will try it again. And I think that'll be really beneficial for you in the long run. And I think that'll be really beneficial for you in the long run as far as planning your systems. And then we're going to come to the handling MecLab, and we're going to do a little more manipulation. Mainly this one, we're going to start having sensors. We're going to have to start making a little more advanced decisions, have a little more I/O, and see how we can streamline things a bit more with what we learned on that one. And then after that, we are going to integrate the three together, and that's going to, I believe, present us with some very unique challenges. So we will put our part over here. They're not tied together right now, so you'll have to use your imagination a little bit. But our container will go here, and this will come down and turn on the vacuum and pull that part up. and then it'll retract. We'll traverse over, and then this will actually be over this conveyor at that point, and it'll drop it on the conveyor, and then it's going to run along here. It's going to check to see if it's a metal part or not. If it is a metal part, it will drop it here. And if it is not, it will continue on and end up setting the part right here. And once that part is there, this is going to insert the lid, retract, and drop down. So that'll be your ultimate goal. Now, I can already tell you some challenges that I'm going to have and that you're going to have, and I'm going to try to solve them in a way that we can maximize our learning. Is first, I do not have enough I/O on my Micro 850 trainer to run all three of these. Now, here at the training center, we do have an abundance of I/O. I could fix that problem, but I'm going to try to think through this the same as you would in your school. Is you're probably not going to have the abundance of I/O that we have here, but I bet you do have a quantity of PLCs. So you probably have 3 or 4 of these. So I think, this is a think because this is planning what we're going to do, is I'm going to put a PLC on each one of these and network them together. That way we can learn about messaging, and we'll probably set it up for CIP or SIP messaging, which is the native Allen Bradley messaging. We'll also probably do some Modbus TCP, and probably leave you at trying to plan how we would execute these steps. And I'm hoping you folks will share some videos with me of your success. Well, I am using the Micro 850 PLC on this. That way, most of you can follow along even if you do not have a purchased version of the software. But everything I'm going to do in here will be compatible with Allen Bradley's compact and control logics, and arguably probably every other PLC out there. So once you're ready, click here, and we're going to start going through this Festo Didactic series.